And I'm probably one of the oldest original LANE Wildcat football members. LANE Youth Association started with a football team in 1971. And I started playing for them, I think, in 1972, 73. In 72, back then, Philadelphia was known as the youth gang capital of the world. All right, and LANE, we practiced back at 19th and Cheltenham, behind prt4, and that's the clan. That was called the clan, okay? And if you back then, if you knew your territories, you knew your gangs, I'm born and raised in Somersville. Okay, I'm born and raised back then. But everybody, when I started playing with LANE, I was in 6th grade. All right, and I started playing with it in the 2nd year or 3rd year in existence. When I started, I was about 11 years old, and I played 120-pound football for 4 years in a row. I'm older than most of you guys. Like I'm saying, baby, I don't want to tell the age. Let me tell you mine, I'm 59, okay? And I'm almost 60, all right? And God is good, because I look good, all right? And I feel good. All right? Like I say, I see Mr. Young one day in the church I just joined up on 5th Street. He had an LANE hat on. And I said, what you know about LANE? He said, well, I'm the president. I said, really? I said, well, you know who I am? He said, no. I said, my name is Greg Trueheart. He said, well, I know the name, but I don't know the face. You know, because like I said, I played, when I met Mr. Wilson and them, and he was my coach. Mr. Kenny Cole was the coach, June Roberts was the coach. All right? We practiced back then, the Earl and Falcons, we practiced back then. And Mr. Cole ran us every day, get a lap. Okay, it wasn't no rap. We had a 135-pound team that played in the Martin Luther King over in New Jersey. All right, that was back in 1972. And the little boy team, the new team, we were a 115-pound team, but we weren't in the league. So I must have weighed about 65 pounds then. I was 11 years old. I'm only 165 pounds now. So imagine that. We weren't in the league. Okay? So the next year came up. My dad got on board, and he joined the organization. The track team got a grant. They won some type of championship. We got a $10,000 grant in 1973. And we had a 120-pound team and a 135-pound team. We had brand new uniforms. Brand new uniforms, right? We stepped inside this playground looking good. The 120-pound team, I weighed 80 pounds. All right? We had 2 teams there. And the first game we played was the Southwest Road Runners. And they told Mr. Harry Wilson and all of them, they said, you want to play 120-pound ball, you got to field a 120-pound team. And we lost every game that year. Every game. That was in 1974. Brand spanking uniforms. I think we beat Hartranft that year. But that was our first year in the Power League, all right? The next year came up, 1975. Now, we talking about my 3rd year. We had guys like Powerhouse, this young man right here. Come on up. My man House. House came, you took House from the Mount Airy Saints, with the Ivy Hill Saints. House came from Ivy Hill 75, okay? We're a year older, we're a little bit bigger. We had the Duggins, Chris Long, my brother Dal Trueheart. We brought Lonnie Yellow. We brought Mr. Joey Jean, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Elliott.
Here you go. You can take mine.
On West Oak Lane, because we were WOL, now Oak Lane. One of the first cheerleaders and an MVP cheerleader. Wildcats for life.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've been in Oak Lane, 47 years. And a participant, softball and cheerleader, 4-time MVP. That's right. Participant for 15 years, coach 16 years. I had all my kids out here. I have grandkids still out here on Oak Lane. So I'm for Oak Lane. That's right. So for character and dignity. The coaches today and the coaches to come, always remember, we stood on one ground.
Mr. Cole, Mr. Slater, Mr. Brown. You heard Ms. Roberts say Mr. Roberts would be here. He would be here. So Mr. Brooks, you see him in the back of the book. Mr. Turner, Oscar Turner. Don't forget about anybody else that I might have missed. Mr. Chambers, Mr. Luke, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Payne. So many. Mr. Davis, definitely. I'm sorry. Look, I'm trying to get everybody else in, so if I didn't, please forgive me.
Mr. Burrell.
Please forgive me. But can I get Mr. Brown? I said, Mr. Brown, can we just get 10 seconds?
Coach Shorty.
For the people, Coach Shorty, can we give 10 seconds for those who passed away, who helped build this organization, along with these great people? 10 seconds, please. Thank you. Real and live today. Oak Lane needs the support to continue to push forward, to stop our young people from shooting each other, killing each other. There is a way, and you guys are an example. I've got so many people, Oscar Turner, Craig Jackson, Derek Gars, Ray Giamona. I just saw all of them who came back here. All the cheer coaches that came back here. We still got to keep Oak Lane going along because we got to stop what's going on out in the streets of Philadelphia. We got to stop the murders. We got to show young people that there is life beyond the streets. And so with us today, I'm going to ask our elected officials who were kind enough to be here. I'm going to ask our Congressman Dwight Evans to come up and speak. And then I got a very special treat before we announce the keynote speaker. But I want to let Congressman Evans come and join.
I'm going to add my voice to what Carlton just described. Because as he described with the challenges that we have in Philadelphia, but it's not just unique in Philadelphia, it's all across the nation. That Oak Lane is truly a model for addressing the challenges that we have. It is really the values and the principles that was expressed not just by Carlton, but all of you who've been the building blocks to where we are today. We know there's no instant solutions to the challenge we have, but if you look at the model of Oak Lane, if you take that model and you duplicate it within the city and within the nation, Carlton, I believe that it can have an effect upon the society. And what I learned most from listening to you and hearing just now, it is the relentlessness of commitment. The fact that you had volunteers, that no one was making any money, but what you're trying to do is make a change in behavior. Because I believe in order to change behavior, you have to change the environment. And certainly Oak Lane was changing the environment. And although everybody was not in it, it's the behavior you was affecting. So when Carlton said to me, can I come in? I said, absolutely. Because I wanted to add my voice to make sure you know that I'm totally committed to the principles that you've inspired. And I tell Carlton every time I see him, whenever he calls me, I call him. Anything I could do for Oak Lane, I'm 1,000% on board. And it's not just about being a politician, it's about your commitment of what you do. It's about the values that you have. It's not something that we should ever take for granted. Because we haven't been around since the pandemic, so we ain't seen times like this. 100 years, we ain't seen any times like this. But between the pandemic and the violence and the combination and the effect that it's having, I congratulate you for 50 years of dedication. And I saw my buddy over there, Howard Patton, know him well, so Hebe Rice. All those names were like building blocks for me. You know, for me to be in public office, and I've been in office 42 years. 42 years representing West Oak Lane. 1980 is when I got elected. 1971 is when I graduated from high school.
So if you think I haven't seen a lot, and as the late John Lewis used to say, and I had the pleasure of serving with him, he would say, if you don't think things have changed, just walk in my shoes. That's what he would say. And that's what I'm saying to you. Yes, they're challenging times. But I'm telling you, if you take the time from 1971, and this is 2021, and you look at what has changed and how Oak Lane has affected the change in the environment, it's been one of those tools in what I call the toolbox. From the volunteers and what you have done, look how you have affected behavior. Look how you have made this community. Look at the same people who live in the community now, own houses, residents, grow up, children, grandchildren. It's because of you. It's because of you, not because of politicians. I always think the greatest title in the world is citizens, and that's you. That's you. So I want to just add my voice call, and you know, whenever you call, I gotta be there. Thank you and congratulations.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening? Hey, I just, I don't understand really kind of like how everybody's feeling tonight, but for me, this is just surreal. Yes. You know, I mean, I'm able to be here with my big brother, my parents, and I remember when we were, you know, 3 generations in as far as bowlers through West Oak Lane. And I remember when my dad was just like, we had moved back, you know, he was in the military, came back home to Philly, and he's like, look, I got 4 boys, they tearing up my house, I gotta get they active, we gotta do something about it, we gotta get them in some sports, we gotta get them busy. We drive by assignments, he's like, hey, y'all wanna play some football? We in the car like, yeah, I guess so. Me and Brandon out there. Next thing I know, we crab crawling with this full equipment on that we never had on before. On the diamond, it's cold outside, hands is sitting here all on the rocks and whatnot. But nonetheless, I mean, that type of perseverance, the type of men and women that were around us to be able to teach us, not just necessarily how to be good athletes, right? I mean, ultimately, it's a small percentage of us that's going to be able to actually play professional in any type of sport. And so when you actually look at it, what it really matters is, what are you able to do on the long term? This is a marathon. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he said extremely successful, but I'm like, nah, like, yeah, like, because I'm still humble, but ultimately that's what I learned when I came up through West Oak Lane. I didn't have a bunch of athletic ability coming out when I was younger. I was offense, defensive lineman, whatever they needed me to do, I did, right? But then as I grew, I got more confidence, people pouring into me, so much positivity. No matter how you feeling, what was going on, you don't make the weight. I was talking to Coach Ronnie, you don't make the weight, you sad, you know what I mean? But just so much positivity, and that built that confidence so that I was able to, once, obviously my body grew a little bit, and I was able to play in high school. I was able to play in college, even when I tore my lateral meniscus. And I was depressed, I'm not gonna lie to you. Senior year at Northeast High, and in training camp, I tore my lateral meniscus. I thought I was done. I done put everything into football. I felt like, you know, basketball, that's just what we do. That's a part of the culture. That's just what we do in Philly. But from a football standpoint, I was pretty depressed. But I will tell you that those times when I was on crutches, guess who was driving me to school? Coach Sam. On a little short bus, so I couldn't have nobody know that I was getting on the bus. You know? So I'm hiding, trying to hobble to get up on the bus. But those conversations that we were having, going to school and then coming home, you know, those things impacted me. And then that continued on. I ended up walking on. He told me, he was like, listen, this is just a little hiccup. you still can play. And I ended up walking on at Florida A&M University, made the team, played for all 4 years, ended up earning scholarship. So from that perseverance aspect, the characteristics, that leadership, right? The dedication, these are these different things that ultimately the coaches was just trying to pour into us from the start. I appreciate it. I am just more than honored to be able to be here, be able to speak, because to come up after Coach Wilson and everybody else, I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm gonna hold it back. I'm gonna have my tears later. You know what I mean? But it's all good though. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all good. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Let's have a good time.
Cats. She was born and raised in West Oak Lane's organization. She is our council member. But the thing is, she's always repping Oak Lane. She always, she's in city council to say, hey, I'm gonna support y'all youth programs, but y'all know I'm a Wildcat, right? I just want y'all to know before I even start, before I'm a Wildcat. And you know the funny part, football was always the reputable organization back in the day. People said, Oak Lane killing everybody. They went out of chance. Years and years and years went by, and I, you know, I'm gonna say it right in front of you. Where you at? There you is. But she was waiting for you. You know, we had a little get together one day, and one of them Mr. Wilson get togethers where we had a bottle. And I said, I'm telling this story, Kim. Let me say my apologies now. I said, y'all don't exist without football. And she was like, what? For real? But then one day I went to the promised land. I went down to Florida. I start walking into this little thing called Disney World. And I saw this huge arena, ESPN. And I saw these cheer programs. I said, it's not even connected to football. I said, it's its own program, its own sport. And I saw the light, ladies. I saw the light. And I apologize wholeheartedly to the comment that I made so insensitive to you. I say it in front of the whole org. Since that time, this organization has went on and won how many national championships?
2013, I think.
We had some falls and we figured it out, and we are back to back national champs. Please give it up for our Lady Wildcats.